Now this is the account of the journey to the seventh planet, and how the legend of the fish god, who came from the waters, was begun. With heavy heart, Ea the chariot entered, to soar up the command he gave. The commander's seat by Anzu, not Ea, was occupied. Anzu, not Ea, was the chariot's commander. He who knows the heavens, his name's meaning was, for the task he was especially selected. A prince among the princes he was, of royal seed his ancestry he counted. The celestial chariot he deftly guided, from Nibiru it powerfully soared, toward the distant sun he it directed. 10 leagues, 100 leagues, the chariot was coursing. 1,000 leagues the chariot was journeying. Little Gaga came out to greet them, a welcome to the heroes it was extending. To blue-hued Antu, the beautiful enchantress, it showed the way. By her sight, Anzu was attracted. Let us examine her waters, Anzu was saying. Ea, to continue without stopping, gave the word. It is a planet of no return, he forcefully said. Toward the heavenly On, the third in planetary counts, the chariot continued. On his side was On lying. His host of moons about him were whirling. The tester's beams, the presence of water was revealing. A stop if needed, to Ea it was indicating. To continue the journey was Ea saying. Toward Anshar, the heaven's foremost prince, he was directing. Soon the ensnaring pull of Anshar they could tell. His colored rings with fear they admired. Deftly did Anzu the chariot guide. The crushing dangers he cleverly avoided. The giant Kishar, foremost of firm planets, was next to be encountered. Her net's pull was overpowering. With great skill did Anzu the chariot's course divert. With fury, Kishar at the chariot divine lightnings was thrusting. Her host at the uninvited she directed. Slowly Kishar moved away. For the chariot, the next enemy to encounter, beyond the fifth planet, the hammer bracelet, was lurking. Ea, his handiwork to set a whirling, commanded. The water thruster to prepare. Toward the host of turning boulders the chariot was rushing, each one like a slingshot stone, ferociously at the chariot aimed. The word by Ea was given. With the force of 1,000 heroes, the stream of water was thrust. But as one boulder fled, another in its stead was attacking. A multitude beyond count was their number, a host for the splitting of Tiamat revenge seeking. Again and again, Ea the commands gave, the water thruster to keep a whirling. Again and again, toward the host of boulders streams of water were directed. Again and again, the boulders their faces turned, a path for the chariot making. And then at last the path was clear. Unharmed the chariot could continue. A cry of joy the hero sounded. Double was the joy as the sight of the sun was now unveiled. Amidst the elation, Anzu, the alarm sounded. For the path to have fashioned, excessive waters were consumed. Waters to feed the chariot's fiery stones for the remaining journey were not sufficient. In the dark deepness, the sixth planet they could see. The sun's rays it was reflecting. There is water on Lahmu, Ea was saying. Can you bring the chariot down upon it? Anzu he was asking. Deftly, Anzu the chariot toward Lahmu directed. Reaching the celestial god, around it he the chariot made circle. The planet's net is not great. Its pull is to handle easy, Anzu was saying. A sight to behold was Lahmu. Many-hued it was. Snow white was its cap. Snow white were its sandals. Reddish-hued was its middle. In its midst, lakes and rivers were aglitter. Deftly, Anzu the chariot made travel slower. By a lakeside it gently came down. Ea and Anzu their eagle's helmets donned. To the firm ground they stepped down. On command, the heroes, that which water sucks, extended. The chariot's bowels with the lake's waters to fill. While the chariot was getting its fill of waters, Ea and Anzu the whereabouts examined. With tester and sampler, all the matters they ascertained. The waters were good for drinking, the air was insufficient. All was in the chariot's annals recorded, the need for the detour described. With its vigor replenished, the chariot soared up, to benevolent Lahmu, farewell bidding. Beyond, the seventh planet was making its circuit. Earth, and its companion, the chariot, were inviting. In the commander's seat, Anzu was without words. Ea too was silent. Ahead was their destination, its gold, Nibiru's fate for salvation or doom, containing. The chariot must be slowed, or in Earth's thick atmosphere it shall perish, Anzu to Ea declared. Around the Earth's companion, the moon, make slowing circles, Ea to him suggested. They circled the moon. By the vanquishing Nibiru in the celestial battle, it prostrate and scarred was lying. Having the chariot thus slowed down, toward the seventh planet, Anzu the chariot directed. Once, twice, the Earth's globe he made the chariot circle. Ever closer to the firm ground he lowered it. Snow-hued was 2/3 of the planet. Dark-hued was its middle. They could see the oceans. They could see the firm lands. For the signal beacon from Alalu, they were searching. Where an ocean touched dry land, where 4 rivers were swallowed by marshes, Alalu's signal was beaconed. Too heavy and large the chariot is for the marshes, Anzu was declaring. The earth's pulling net, too powerful for on dry land to descend it is, Anzu to Ea announced. Splash down in the ocean's waters, Ea to Anzu shouted. Around the planet, Anzu made one more circuit. The chariot with much care toward the ocean's edge he lowered. The chariot's lungs he filled with air. Into the waters down it splashed. Into the depths it was not sinking. From the speaker a voice was heard. To earth be welcomed, Alalu was saying. By his beamed words, the direction of its whereabouts was determined. Toward the place Anzu the chariot directed. Floating as a boat, it was upon the waters moving. Soon the wide-ranging ocean narrowed. Dry land on both sides as guarding appeared. On the left side, brown-hued hills were rising. On the right, mountains to heaven their heads raised. Toward the place of Alalu was the chariot moving. Floating like a boat upon the waters it was. Ahead, the dry land was covered with flooding. Marshes the ocean were replacing. Anzu to heroes commands uttered. Their fish's suit to put on he ordered. A hatch of the chariot was then opened. Into the marshes the heroes descended. Strong ropes to the chariot they attached. With the ropes the chariot they were pulling. Alalu's beamed words more powerful were becoming. Hurry, hurry, he was saying. At the edge of the marshes a sight there was to behold. Gleaming in the sunrays was a chariot from Nibiru. Alalu's celestial boat it was. The heroes their paces quickened. Toward Alalu's chariot they were hurried. Impatient, Ea donned the fish's suit. Within his chest his heart was like a drum beating. Into the marsh he jumped. Toward his edge hurried steps he directed. High were the marshes flooding. Deeper was the bottom than he expected. He changed his gait to swimming. With bold strokes forward he advanced. As dry land he was approaching. Green meadows he could see. Then his feet touched firm ground. He stood up and by walking he continued. Ahead he could see Alalu standing, with his hands with vigor waving. Coming out of the waters, ashore Ea stepped. On dark-hued earth he was standing. Alalu toward him came running. His son by marriage he powerfully embraced. Welcome to a different planet, Alalu to Ea said.